Here's a short, powerful, emotionally charged hook for the story. She grabbed my wrist and whispered, "Please don't walk away." But the truth slipped out of me before I could stop it. "You walked away first the day you cheated." And in that moment, I watched the strongest woman I ever loved break right in front of me. The moment begins in a kind of stillness that doesn't feel natural. The kind that settles only after two people have already said too much, or maybe not enough. We're standing outside her place, the porch light casting a soft, warm glow that makes everything feel deceptively peaceful. The air is cool, the kind that carries every breath like it weighs something. I'm halfway turned toward the street when I hear her voice. Not loud, not angry, just fragile. "Don't walk away." The words tremble somewhere between a command and a plea. When I turn, she's standing there with her arms held close to her body, hands gently curled at her sides, as if she's afraid to reach for me. Like one touch might shatter what little control she has left. She's always carried herself with this effortless confidence, the kind that made you straighten up a little when she walked into a room. But right now, that confidence is gone. The woman in front of me looks unsure, almost small, and it catches me completely off guard. Her breathing is uneven, her eyes glossy, not with dramatics, but with something raw, guilt, fear, a breaking heart she's been trying to hold together. I feel my jaw tighten before I even speak. I wasn't planning to say anything. I was just going to leave quietly, give myself space, pretend I was stronger than I am. But her voice, it hits a place I've been trying to numb. So I turn fully toward her, and for a long moment after my words hit her, she doesn't move. She just stands there in the soft porch light, shoulders lifting with one slow, shaky breath. I expect anger, defensiveness, some attempt to justify what she did. But it doesn't come. Instead, she steps toward me, gently, almost cautiously, like I'm something fragile she's afraid to scare away. There's nothing dramatic in her movement. No rush, no desperate grabbing, just a quiet, deliberate closeness. As she approaches, I can hear the faint hitch in her breathing, the kind that only happens when someone is holding back more emotion than they know how to carry. When she finally stops in front of me, she's close enough that I can feel the warmth coming off her skin, even in the cool night air. Her eyes, usually so steady and self-assured, tremble as they lift to meet mine. She opens her mouth once, then closes it again, as if the words are too heavy to form. Then, softly, almost in a whisper meant only for the space between us, she speaks. "I didn't want to lose you." Her voice cracks on a last word, barely noticeable, but real enough that it punches straight through me. She looks away for a moment, swallowing hard, her jaw tightening with the effort to stay composed. And it hits me, the woman who always held herself together with such elegance is falling apart right here in front of me. She shifts her weight, her fingers brushing nervously against her own forearm. It's a small gesture, but it reveals so much. She's not hiding from a truth. She's struggling with it, wrestling with the version of herself she hates for what she did. "I was lonely," she murmurs, her gaze dropping to the ground. "Not because of you. Not because you weren't enough. You were." Her voice softens even more, almost fading. "You were the one thing that felt right. But I got scared of how much I needed you, of how young your life still is, of what people would think of me, of us." She laughs once, not because something is funny, but because she's trying to keep herself from breaking again. A quiet, shaky laugh that dissolves instantly into silence. "I made the worst choice of my life," she says. One moment of weakness. And every day since, I've been trying to breathe with the weight of it." She finally lifts her head, meeting my eyes again. There's no defense in her expression, no justification, just a raw, aching honesty that makes the space between us feel unbearably heavy. Her hands hover for a second, like she wants to reach for me, but knows she doesn't deserve to. She holds them close to her chest instead, fingers curling slightly with the effort not to touch me. "You have every right to walk away," she whispers. "But don't think for a second that I ever stopped loving you. Not even when I was being the worst version of myself." Her voice fades, and she inhales carefully, like the air itself hurts to take in. I broke us, she says finally. I know that. And I'm not asking for forgiveness tonight. I'm just asking you to understand that the woman who hurt you isn't the woman standing in front of you right now. And in that quiet, vulnerable confession, the hurt deepens. But so does the truth neither of us has been brave enough to face until now. Her words hang in the air between us, trembling with everything she's trying to hold together. And for a moment, I can't tell what hurts more, the memory of what she did, or the sight of her trying so desperately not to fall apart in front of me. I stand there, frozen, the cool air brushing against the back of my neck while the warmth of her presence presses softly against the front of me. It's strange how someone can break you and still feel like home. How the heart remembers things the mind keeps trying to forget. I take in a slow breath, steadying myself. I know I should be angry. I know I should step back, put distance between us, protect what's left of me. But when I look at her, really look at her, I see more than the mistake. I see the woman who once rested her head on my chest after long days, her fingers tracing idle circles on my arm as if my heartbeat grounded her. The woman who laughed quietly at my dry jokes, who cupped my face with both hands when I doubted myself, who taught me how gentle love could be. It's impossible to unsee all that. Still, the betrayal sits in my stomach, cold and heavy. My eyes drop as I swallow hard, trying to steady the warring pieces inside me. She shifts gently, her breath unsteady, as if she can feel my hesitation like a tide pulling her in and pushing her back. I'm not trying to excuse what I did, she murmurs, her voice soft but still trembling slightly. I needed you to know it wasn't because I didn't love you. That hit something deep, too deep. I feel my fingers twitch, the smallest movement, almost invisible, but the moment it happens, her eyes flick down to my hand like she noticed it instantly. She doesn't reach for me. She doesn't take advantage of it. She just watches, hopeful and afraid at the same time. I take a step back. Only one, but it feels like a mile. Her breath catches quietly, as if that single step pulls the ground out from under her. Not a dramatic gasp, just a soft, barely audible intake of air. The kind a person makes when they were hoping for something and watched it slip through their fingers. I can't just pretend nothing happened. I say finally, my voice low, steady, but softer than I mean it to be. You hurt me, more than you think. She closes her eyes for a second, nodding slowly, accepting it. The porch light catches the faint shimmer of a tear tracing down her cheek. She wipes it quickly, not out of pride, but out of fear that showing too much emotion might push me even farther away. And that breaks something in me all over again. Because I can see it, the guilt, the regret, the woman who once carried herself with grace, now standing in front of me like she's bracing for a blow she believes she deserves. I inhale slowly, trying to gather the strength to leave, but my chest tightens at the thought. I look at her, really look, and beneath all the pain, there's still something there. Something warm. Something that remembers how safe her arms once felt around me. I'm trying. I whisper, almost to myself. Her eyes soften, glowing faintly with hope she's too scared to fully reveal. And that's when I realize the truth I've been avoiding. I'm not resisting her. I'm resisting myself. And the part of me that still wants to reach for her despite everything she broke. The silence between us stretches, long and fragile, like a thin thread that might snap if either of us breathes too deeply. She stands there, eyes lowered, shoulders barely lifted with each uneven breath. I can tell she's waiting, not for forgiveness, but for some sign that I haven't completely closed the door. For a moment, I keep my hands at my sides, fingers curled slightly into my palms, grounding myself in the tension swirling around us. My heartbeat is loud, uncomfortably loud, and I'm almost certain she can hear it in the quiet. Then she does something small, so small it nearly slips past me. She lifts her hand, slowly, hesitantly, not reaching out, not touching, just lifting it halfway, as if she's asking for permission without saying the words. Her fingertips tremble in the porch light, the faintest shake revealing just how terrified she is of making the wrong move. Her eyes flick up to mine. She doesn't speak. She's waiting. And even though part of me is still hurting, still raw, I give the smallest nod. Barely there, but enough. Her breath leaves her in a soft, shaky exhale, relief mixed with fear, and her hand closes the distance inch by inch. When her fingertips finally touch my forearm, it's so feather-light that it barely feels like contact at all. But somehow, that gentle, hesitant touch sends a quiet shiver up my arm. She feels it. I know she does because her fingers pause, then gently rest against my skin with a little more certainty. Not claiming me, not pulling me in, just connecting. As if she's trying to remind me of the warmth we once shared without taking more than she deserves. Her thumb grazes my sleeve, making small, careful circles over the fabric. The movement is so subtle, so tender, almost breaks me. There's apology in it, longing, fear, and a kind of love that doesn't know how to protect itself anymore. "I'm so sorry," she whispers, her voice cracking like a quiet break in the night. "Not just for what I did, but for how it made you doubt your worth." The words hit harder than I expect. My eyes close for a moment, just a moment, because the warmth of her touch and the softness in her voice pull memories to the surface. Nights she held the sides of my face with those same hands, mornings she brushed my hair out of my eyes, evenings when her fingers rested on the back of my neck like that was her favorite place to be. When I open my eyes again, she's watching me, not pleading, not pushing, just searching gently for any sign that she's still allowed to feel hope. "I never stopped loving you," she says, barely audible. Her hand slides down my arm a little, her fingers linking loosely around my wrist. Not tightening, not pulling me in, just resting there, lightly, like she's afraid I'll slip away if she holds too tightly. And something inside me cracks, not in anger, but in recognition. Because even in her mistake, even in the pain she caused, the affection in her touch is real, familiar, disarming. She steps a fraction closer, not enough to invade my space, but enough for me to feel the warmth radiating from her body. Enough for her scent, soft, steady, unmistakably hers, to reach me like a memory I'm not ready to let go of. For the first time since everything fell apart, her touch doesn't feel like a threat to my heart. It feels like an echo, one that reminds me how deeply we once belonged to each other, and how deeply, even in this broken moment, part of me still does. Her fingers are still resting lightly around my wrist, not pulling, not insisting, just holding on with the soft, trembling hesitation of someone who knows they have no right to ask for more. And for a moment, that tiny connection, warm and fragile, feels louder than everything else around us. I can feel her pulse against my skin. It's unsteady, nervous, and it mirrors my own. She keeps her gaze lowered, as if afraid of what she'll see in my eyes, or what I might see in hers. The porch light catches in the strands of her hair, casting a soft glow that makes her look both strong and breakable all at once. "I didn't cheat because I wanted someone else," she says quietly. "I cheated because I didn't think I deserved the way you looked at me." Her voice cracks on the last few words, and she exhales shakily as if releasing a confession she's been carrying for far too long. She swallows, then lifts her chin just enough to face me fully. "You looked at me like I was the safest place in your world," she murmurs. "Like you trusted me with parts of yourself no one else had ever seen." And I panicked, because deep down I felt like one day you would wake up and realize you deserve someone younger, someone less complicated. Her eyes flicker away, her lower lip trembling just barely before she bites it gently, trying to steady herself. She takes a small breath, and when her gaze returns to mine, it's full of a raw honesty that sends heat through my chest. "I ruined the one thing that made me feel worth something," she whispers. "And I've hated myself every day for it." Her fingers tighten just slightly around my wrist. Not enough to trap me, just enough to show she's scared of losing the connection entirely. My throat tightens, because the longer she speaks, the more I realize something I've never said out loud. I wasn't angry just because she cheated. I was devastated because for the first time in my life, I felt like I had finally found someone who saw me, truly saw me, and I thought I wasn't enough to keep her. The words come out quietly, almost unwillingly. It wasn't just the betrayal that hurt, I say, my voice low, steady despite the trembling under it. It was feeling like I wasn't enough for you to stay loyal to. Her breath catches, not loudly, just a soft, broken inhale that tells me she's been waiting to hear the truth I've kept buried. Tears gather in the corners of her eyes, but she doesn't let them fall yet. Instead, she steps a fraction closer, her chest almost brushing my arm, her warmth seeping through the cool night air. She lifts her hand, the one not holding my wrist, and, with slow, careful movements, cradles the side of my face. Her palm is warm, her thumb brushing my cheekbone in gentle, soothing strokes. The kind she used to do when she felt me retreating into my thoughts. "You were more than enough," she whispers. "You were everything. I messed up because of my own insecurities, not yours." Her thumb strokes my cheek again, softer this time, a touch that asks for nothing but honesty. And in that quiet, trembling moment, I let myself feel the truth I've been choking back. I still love her. Not blindly, not instantly forgiving her, but deeply, quietly, painfully still. For a long, quiet moment, neither of us speaks. Her hand is still on my cheek, warm and steady, while her other hand rests loosely around my wrist. Not pulling me in, not holding me back, just anchoring us both to this moment we never thought we'd reach again. The night is cool around us, but somehow it feels distant, softened by the warmth radiating from her body, so close to mine. I feel her breath, soft and uneven, brushing against my collar. I hear the faint tremble in it, a mix of fear, regret, and something far more fragile, hope. She lowers her forehead gently against my shoulder, not collapsing into me, not clinging, just leaning, with the weight of someone who has finally stopped fighting their own guilt. Her cheek brushes the fabric of my shirt, warm and damp from tears she tried to hide. Her fingers, still holding my wrist, loosen slightly, slipping down until her hand finds mine. Her touch is light, hesitant, as if she's waiting for me to pull away. But I don't. I don't pull away. My chest tightens. Not painfully, just heavily, like a truth settling into place after too many nights of denying it. I let out a slow breath, letting it warm the top of her head. And before my mind can stop me, my hand moves, not with certainty, not with confidence, but with something softer. My fingers rise and rest gently on her back. Just a touch, barely there. But the moment I do, she exhales a shaky, relieved whisper of breath against me. The tension in her shoulders melts just a little. She sinks into the closeness, not taking advantage, but appreciating the fragile grace of being allowed near me again. "I'm not asking you to come back to me," she murmurs against my shoulder, her voice muffled but honest. "I just wanted a chance to show you I'm not the same woman who hurt you." Her fingers brush lightly over the back of my hand, small, careful strokes that feel like she's tracing the outline of forgiveness she doesn't dare request. I swallow hard, my throat tight. The hurt hasn't vanished. The betrayal hasn't suddenly disappeared. But in this moment, with her warmth pressed gently against me and her voice trembling with sincerity, something inside me shifts. Not healing, not repairing, but softening. I don't know what happens next. I whisper, my voice low, almost gravelly from holding so much in. I don't know if I could just go back. She lifts her head slowly, her forehead resting against my chest instead, her breath steadier now. She looks up at me, eyes red, lashes damp, but steady, really steady. "I'm not asking you to," she says softly. "Just don't shut me out before we talk, before we try to understand what's still left between us." Her hand tightens gently around mine, not pleading, not desperate, just present. Present in a way she wasn't before. Present in a way that feels real, grounded, human. And I realize something simple, something undeniable. If I wanted to walk away completely, I would have done it when she first called my name. But I didn't. I stayed, even if just for tonight. So I breathe in, slow and deep, and my hand, almost on its own, lifts to her face, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear. My fingertips graze her cheek, and she closes her eyes, leaning into the touch with a softness that breaks me open. We'll talk, I say gently. Not tonight, but soon. She nods, lips trembling into a small, grateful smile as her forehead rests lightly against mine. And for the first time since everything shattered, the night doesn't feel heavy anymore. It feels possible. The night settles around us gently, no longer sharp or cold, almost as if the air itself softens in response to the way we're standing here. Close, connected, but careful. Her forehead is still resting lightly against mine, her breath slow now, steadier, matching the quiet rhythm forming between us. It doesn't feel like the beginning of something new. It doesn't feel like the end of something old. It feels like the space in between, the kind where two people finally stop running and just sit with the truth. She pulls back a little, just enough to see my face clearly. Her fingers slide down from my cheek, brushing the edge of my jawline before falling gently to her side. But the warmth of her touch lingers, a soft imprint that stays even after her hand is gone. You don't have to decide anything tonight, she says softly, her voice steady now, but still threaded with vulnerability. I just needed you to know the truth before you walk away for good. There's no tremble this time. No panique. No desprit. Just honesty, the kind that can only come after losing something that mattered enough to break you. I take a slow breath, letting it fill the space between us, letting myself acknowledge what I've been avoiding for so long. The love didn't disappear. The trust did. And rebuilding one doesn't automatically fix the other. I'm not ready to come back, I say quietly. But I'm not ready to lose you either. Her eyes soften, glistening just slightly, not with heartbreak, but with something gentler. Relief. Gratitude. A fragile kind of hope that doesn't dare take up too much space. She nods once, slow and accepting. I can live with that, she whispers. A breeze sweeps between us, brushing the loose strands of her hair across her face. Without thinking, I reach up and gently tuck them behind her ear. My fingers graze her skin, warm and familiar, and she closes her eyes for a second, just breathing, just feeling, just existing in the quiet closeness. When she opens her eyes again, she steps back enough to give me space, but not so far that the connection breaks. Her presence still surrounds me, steady and warm. I'll be here, she says, voice soft but sure. Not waiting for you to fix us. Just here, if you ever want to talk. If you ever want to try. I nod, and this time it feels intentional. Not hesitant, not conflicted. Real. She reaches for my hand one last time, her fingers tracing lightly along my palm before slipping away. A soft goodbye. Not final, not lingering too long, just enough to leave warmth behind. I'm glad you stayed tonight, she murmurs. Me too, I answer quietly. We stand there for a moment longer, not as lovers, not as strangers, not as enemies, but as two people who once meant everything to each other, and in some quiet, complicated way still do. Then I turn toward the street, not walking away, not really, but stepping back into my own space with a little less weight, a little more clarity. And as I leave, I hear her door close softly behind me, not shutting me out, just giving us both room to breathe. And maybe not tonight, not tomorrow, but someday we'll find each other again. Not because we ignored the pain, but because we learned to face it together. A quiet ending, a gentle beginning, nothing forced, nothing broken, just possible.